guys, today I'm doing my April wrap-up. April was another okay-ish month. I'm just mostly a little bit sad because I can't seem to really love any of the actual novels I read. I read some novellas that I like, but I just can't seem to find a book that I really enjoy at the moment. So that always makes me feel kind of sad at the end of the month and kind of unaccomplished. I don't know, it doesn't really make sense, but yeah. Let's just get into the books that I read in April. So first this month I read a play again, and this time I read Twelfth Night by Shakespeare. I read this in German just because I only read this once again to, get to know the play and to find a monologue out of it. And I already had a monologue in mind that I wanted to do out of it, but yeah, I had to read the whole play, and I don't know, if I do the monologue, then it does feel weird to me to read the book or the play in English. So even though I thought it was weird, I decided to read this in German, and I actually enjoyed the play. I thought it was kind of fun, but I just had a really weird translation. I got the free version because I thought I couldn't really do any wrong with that, but it was actually a incredibly shortened version where the translator just decided to leave out parts that he thought were unnecessary. And it was just the dumbest thing ever. And he was assholey with doing that, because he not only wrote oh, I cut this out and this is what happens, but there was a few parts where he wrote something this is an unnecessary part in the story that we don't feel is worthy of translating. And I was oh, that's so mean, why do you say that? So in the end I gave it 2 out of 5 stars just because I wanted to really incorporate my rating for this translation. I might read the actual proper translation at one point, but not for the next few weeks, because I did get enough of the play that I know what's happening. So I enjoyed it. I just thought the translation sucked, so I had to put off 2 stars for that. Next, I finally finished Library of Souls by Ransom Riggs. This is the 3rd and final book in the Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children trilogy, and this took me forever. I think it took me almost a month. It was so disappointing to me. I only gave it 2 out of 5 stars. This is definitely my least favorite book in the trilogy, and I mean, I've never been the biggest fan of this trilogy. When I read the first book, I was already disappointed because I had expected something that was very different than what the book actually was. But then, once I knew what to expect, I actually thought that the second book was fun, and I really felt myself enjoying this one, but still not loving it and still feeling this is just a little strange to me and not really my kind of thing. But still, because I enjoyed it so much more and I now knew what to expect, I was really excited for this third one and for the conclusion. I was so freaking disappointed. I mean, I'm glad I finished it, and I'm glad I just got this trilogy done. There were a few aspects that I just didn't enjoy. As I said, it's just slow, and I found many parts boring. One of the cool aspects of this are the pictures in this. I'm just gonna show you one picture. This time around, and I think it was already a bit in Hollow City, but in this one I felt it was incredibly extreme, that you could really tell how hard Ransom Riggs was trying to include these pictures in the story. Every time the story was actually going forward, there were no pictures in it, and then all of a sudden, you had just someone describing a place. It was so random. And then before every picture, there was a really detailed description of what was in the picture, and it just threw me out of the story so much, because when I read these really detailed descriptions, I knew, oh, this was going to be a picture, because it was just so detailed. And then, you could see clearly on the picture. For example, for the picture I just showed you, he explained how he wore a massive overcoat with a high collar and a wide-brimmed fedora. The head tilted so low that all we could see of his face were 2 pinprick eyes and the tip of his nose. He stood blocking our way, staring us down. And I was I can see that. You don't have to explain it to me. It feels already unnecessary, and I already know that probably this wouldn't have been included if it wasn't for this cool picture he had found. And then you still like explain all of this to me. I found that so annoying, and it just happened too often, and as I said, it was never like the pictures really brought the story forward, and that was just pissing me off. Also, I in general found in this one Jacob was incredibly annoying, even more annoying than he already was. And he reads like a child. He doesn't read like a 16-year-old. I mean, okay, he's a guy, and I always say like you have to take off like 4 years from the actual age of guys, so it fits then. But still, I don't know, it really is so middle grade-ish, but then again, Jacob has like really weird thoughts about Emma and just like really teenagery thoughts about her. And then also all the time Jacob was like, I feel like I'm a new Jacob, and the old Jacob would have done this and that, but I'm the new Jacob, and what would the new Jacob do? And I was like, there is no old or new Jacob. You just develop as a human. There is nothing old new. You're not getting completely replaced. You just, you know, learn more things and do more things. I don't know. It was so weird to me. Okay, whatever. I'm sorry I'm ranting about this, but yeah, as you can tell, I was very disappointed with this book. The conclusion in the end was actually like my almost favorite thing. I mean, it really got to a point where I thought the story was really, really fun, which I obviously can't spoil, but I thought that there were parts of the ending that I thought were really interesting and really realistic, and then it just kind of got into like really weird stuff again, and then in the end I still was disappointed with the ending. I would have loved if it was just like more open, so the people that have read it will probably know what I'm talking about. I wish we had ended before that like final conclusion, to just have this kind of as an open thought. In the end, I feel like this is really not what some people describe it is, and the pictures are not scary in my opinion. It has nothing to do with creepy or horror, and honestly this is more like a fairy tale. It is a dark fairy tale, but overall I feel like it's a fairy tale, and the ending really kind of supported that. I talked too much about Library of Souls now that I kind of want to get through the other ones quick, but that is not a problem at all, because the next book I read was Riverkeep by Martin Stewart, and I requested this on NetGalley and was so happy that I got accepted, and then I DNF'd the book after 25% because I just felt immediately that this was not my style of book. Couldn't really get into it, and I knew I wouldn't enjoy reading the rest of it, so I decided that it would be best for everyone to just DNF it. And I did a DNF review of it because I do feel like there's some people out there that would really enjoy the book. If you're a fan of The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, I think you might want to check this book out. But yeah, just watch the review and see for yourself. I do think that this will be a great book for some people, and it has a gorgeous cover. Next, I read another novella by Leigh Bardugo. I read The Too Clever Fox, which is another folk tale. This one was, as the other ones, really good. I just thought it was a bit less thrilling than the other ones, but I still found that it was just a really great and a dark fairy tale. Like, these almost really feel like fairy tales to me with a really dark twist. I also read Little Knife, which is another of these folk tales. This, on the other hand, I felt like was not as creepy as the other ones, but I just love this story. I can't explain why. It really wasn't as dark as the other ones, but I still thought it was a really interesting, cool story. It had an element in it that I really enjoy, which was water. I don't know why. It was kind of like water was a person in this one. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but I really enjoyed that. And you know, I was already in the vibe because I read this right after The Too Clever Fox. I gave The Too Clever Fox only 4 out of 5 stars only, and Little Knife 5 out of 5 stars. And lastly, this month I read Virgins by Diana Gabaldon. This is another novella, and this is a prequel novella to the Outlander series. This is about Jamie and Ian when they are 19, I want to say. I thought this was a little unnecessary. I love novellas, and for the most part I found them really interesting, and yeah, just they give the story a lot. But I felt like for this one it took a really long time to get somewhere, and I really felt a little bored for the first like 60%. I definitely feel like in the end I got a good thing out of the story, and something that, you know, is kind of like interesting to know about the characters and what they experience, but I felt like, you know, like 50 or 60% of it were a bit unnecessary, where I didn't know where the sense in me reading it was just a little boring and it didn't really go anywhere. But yeah, from like 60% on or so, I thought it was really enjoyable and really cool. I mean, I really feel like you should be a hardcore fan if you read this novella, because otherwise I don't think you will get anything out of it. And I gave Versions 2.5 out of 5 stars. And these were all of the books, plays, novellas that I read this month. As I said, I just feel a little like sad because I wasn't having like so many amazing experiences. But now I do have like more books that I really want to get through. I just had this huge amount of novellas that were on my TBR and that I wanted to read. So, you know, I always like to prioritize them because I know I will be quick with reading these. But now I really just don't have any more novellas to read at the moment. There's many new releases that I'm really excited for in May and also June and also July. So I will definitely read more books, and there will definitely be at least one out of these that I will love. I'm very, very sure of it. So yeah, I'm really excited. Let me know what you read in April and what your favorite book was, and I guess I'll see you soon.